good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever the time of the day is you're choosing to listen to us. I'm Declan Carroll, and I'm joined by Andy Cummins for Top 33. Andy.
63, Dec, yeah, madman.
Oh, sorry, 63.
Underselling
Andy,
it there.
we have 2 nurseries and 5
Yep.
maidens. It's for 2-year-olds only, this card. Where would you see the likes of it? Is there anyone else even bothering to look at this card? Never mind cover it in depth on a podcast.
Yeah, that's a good point. And for listeners or viewers, I did not suggest we cover this, by the way, just for the record. I swear to God, this was not of my own doing. No, this is a card you tend to look at probably after they've gone by the winning post in the Grand National at Aintree, and you're looking ahead to maybe the flat season, or even maybe a little bit earlier, maybe just before Aintree. But yeah, plenty of nice 2-year-olds be making their debut or winning maidens on this card. Well worth looking for the future. You might see some future stars come out of these maidens. And then obviously we have 2 nurseries as well. Very much an industry card of the highest order, but they're necessary. There's a few of them equivalents over the Irish Sea at Newmarket as well, which are always very much worth keeping an eye on it towards October, even at the start of November. These are brilliant cards though. A good opportunity for some horses to get experience under the belt, and and they can, as you said, Dec, they can go unnoticed. They're well worth following and covering, for that matter.
Yeah. Look, come here. You're not going to get this content anywhere else. This is absolutely unique podcast content, and yeah, look, this will be a podcast hopefully well worth following into the future. Even if it's not winners, I'd imagine horses we mentioned tonight will go on to win races in the future. So this will be definitely one worth listening to, and maybe even listen to again after the racing on Thursday. But I might make it down on Thursday if the weather's good.
I would love to.
You know, I do think it is a card that, you know, to see them with your own eye would be very, very important going into the future.
Yeah.
There's not obviously. Is this the only one in Ireland, Andy? Did you say where it's 2-year-olds only? I
think the Curragh has one. It might have like a handicap for older horses on the card as well. This might be the only pure 2-year-old only, but I think there is like a card or two at the Curragh which are maybe all 2-year-old races bar one. But this would be, I think, this may be a standalone as a 2-year-old only card.
Yeah, well, look, I suppose a real notebook day, you know, and what you see with your own eye when you're there is always very, very important. And you see things when you're racing that you don't see on the telly. But Andy, we're off the back of quite a decent weekend for ourselves, and you know what should be the flagship weekend for Irish racing. But the racing was great. There's no two ways about it. We had a great Irish Champion Stakes, and we two great days of racing. How did you find it?
I had a ball. We basically had the Larkspur to ourselves at Leopardstown, which was it was great and depressing at the same time, because obviously it's the crowd that kind of makes it, and that's what makes probably the Dublin Racing Festival a little bit better, and that's coming from someone that prefers the flat. Like it was, maybe the crowds were a little bit disappointing. We covered that quite a lot last week, but the racing there's no better race day in, you know, for just pure action on the track and your finishes. Leopardstown's such a great track. It's so fair. You can see everywhere. And obviously there's a knowledgeable crowd up there. There always is in Ireland. But the standard of racing though was brilliant. The Champion Stakes, as you said, Dec, we got a brilliantly entertaining race. And then it helps when we lash in 5 winners on the card as well to boot, and people are tweeting back at us their lucky 15s or Trixies or Yankees or whatever they got up. I got a kick out of that. It was a lot of fun.
Love it. Love to see how much they've won. We want to see pictures from the holidays now.
Exactly. That's the main thing.
Hopefully holidays. Go and spend it. You've won yourself a nice few quid. Spend it on something. Otherwise, you just give it back. And you might give it back, listen to us over the next few weeks.
Probably.
But no, go and spend it. Buy something. Spend on a holiday. Feel it. Get it, you know. Reward yourself with it. So yeah, well done to all. Andy, I'm not going to live without having another little go at Leopardstown, because I think it's, you know, it shouldn't be brushed under the carpet. And just a little thing, when we got into the Larkspur, none of the taps were working. Now, this might seem like a minor thing, but
the tap podcast was working, but not the taps for alcohol.
Oh, sorry, the taps. the tabs for points. Now, this might seem like a minor thing, but we said last week that Leopardstown don't really care about Irish punters anymore. First, how can the tabs be? It's such a big day. Make sure everything's spot on. But then when they weren't working, you 3 girls behind the bar just left there. You know, they're being paid. Someone should have gone, right, okay, look, the tap shouldn't be broken, but shit happens. Let's deal with it. Let's think on our feet and go, let's get bar service going here. None of that. They were just, it took me to go up and look, girls, want to make yourself a few quid. Do you know what I mean? There's tips galore here if you can get down to the bar and get a few drinks, because to get down there and queue was a nightmare to leave your seat.
It's pain,
You know, it's just, it's sort of carried on from what we were saying last week. I think Leopardstown have, you know, hopefully it'll be different come Christmas now, but it just appears to me they don't really care about the Irish punter anymore. And it's a shame, because it is our premier racetrack, and that was, like, there was people from Scotland and England up there, and like, what are they thinking?
Yeah, you'd be worried about them not coming back now, wouldn't you? So
yeah, you would, yeah. So, look, we're gonna leave Leopardstown alone now for a while, unless I get there again before Christmas. Any
good performances, Dec, from the weekend, just before we jump off it, that you want to touch back on Saturday or Sunday?
Oh, look, obviously the first 2 races, Shantez and Green Impact, I thought were very, very good. Shantez she's definitely not a listed class mare this year.
No, she's not.
Yeah, no, she was very good. Thought part of her Juno was excellent. She I thought she won with a lot of authority. She put I know they were closing on at the line, but she put plenty of distance in between her and the field and won the race there. And I was really, really impressed with her now. Top class 3-year-old filly. But what about you?
I would agree with you with Shantez. I thought she was, I'd say that's the first time the Persuader's been used on her in her life, and she just shied away from it. It was just greenness. It wasn't ingenuine or anything like that. I thought she was very, very good. I think Diego Velasquez has a great opportunity now to mature into a top miler next year. The division needs it. You would imagine Sharon's going to retire to stud, who's probably fair to say. I know he's beaten in France a week or two ago. He's probably the best miler around at the moment. So he has an opportunity now to jump into a division and really put that on lock, because he looks like he's matured into a lovely horse. As I'd agree with John Porter for Tuna, I thought Economics showed a great tenacity, great attitude to win the Champion Stakes. Shin Emperor, people said he might have been a little bit unlucky. I think the gap was just going a little bit faster than he was, maybe.
A lot of people reckoned if Jackie Chan wasn't riding that, he might have done a bit better. But
it'll
be interesting to see what they do in Paris in October.
Yeah, look, if he handles the ground, he'd be a player. It's an open arc. It's a very open arc, and he goes there with a fair chance now. And it'd be a sporting each way chance. And stranger things have happened. Trust your instinct as well. Great to have him. We were both confident in him. He was probably a little bit better value for his winning margin. Like Dylan Brown McMonigal, he didn't chase Kinesiology down, but he did let him go and fought back. And even still, he was probably in front a little bit longer than Dylan would have liked. And I thought he really showed his dominance. They could go anywhere with him. You could see him going up and trip again. You could he's not slow. He's second to continuous.
I wonder now, would they, now that he's become a better racehorse, what could he do?
Exploit his marker 1, 2, 3, is it? Over sticks. Like he's rated 108. Like there's a chance he goes up off 108. Like he's within a stone of his hurdles mark on the flat, which is at that level is very interesting.
Right, where does he turn up, Andy?
Where does he turn up? Over like if assuming he's okay, like there's the 2 mile handicap. Like they could just go straight to Down Royal with him. The 2 mile handicap. There's one at Fairy House.
A listed handicap.
Yeah, they could go, or what I would do with them, because you'd probably get your good ground, and you could, with the low lying sun, you'd have hurdles omitted. Just run them in the Greatwood, Cheltenham.
The Greatwood.
Yeah, with about 4 hurdles, and just let him run off basically use his flat speed. That would be an interesting one if he stayed, obviously, as well. Plenty of options for him. Great fun horse, and look, you couldn't rule him out even progressing further on the flat. And I think they're still trying to pull up Fighter as well in the Patingo. I don't know where he ended up.
I don't know how he missed that one.
Jesus Christ.
They missed that one. A maiden winner out of Ballydoyle. We were just, we just couldn't see, well, I just couldn't see past Pasiva. Didn't bother looking at the rest of the field.
Well, I say Jan Brugel and Sean Levy. Yeah, I'd say Jan Brugel and Sean Levy are happy that thing didn't end up in the ledger instead. The way he went down, won that handicap, like it was.
Yeah, he goes to Ascot now, does he?
He probably does, yeah. Or they could run him. There's the Irish Cesar, which could be an open goal for him now, because he could be dealing with a high class group stayer now on the flat. Yeah. Anything from the Curragh then, I don't know. Like Lake Victoria, obviously you were worried about her, Dec. She was good. Bedtime Story pulled up lame after the line, so we probably won't see her again this year. And Henry Mattis, was there a streak there? I don't know. Like he was hanging all over the place when he just couldn't get the scare.
He doesn't like the shillelagh, does he?
No, he fell out of the stalls as well. Like he could probably mark up the run, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, is there a bit of a streak there? I don't know. I think there's better 2-year-olds. With all due respect to Scorthy Champ, I think there's better 2-year-olds out there, and there probably is better 2-year-olds than Henry Mattis as well. But yeah, I thought it was a very interesting weekend. Plenty to take from it.
Think we seen the best 2-year-old colt on Saturday? Or
in Green Impact?
Or is the one that beat him the best 2-year-old colt that we haven't seen since? Has that? Maybe. Depends. I wonder where we're going to see him. Well, Dermot Wells, we mightn't see him for another 2 years.
Exactly. Yeah, they're probably getting him ready for the Breeders' Cup Classic or Breeders' Cup Turf or something in 2 years' time. We haven't seen him. Hazadan, that was testing. Well, it wasn't testing ground. It was officially good ground, but I think it was raining. That horse could be anything now.
He was extremely green on debut when he was well beat, and maybe that's the reason people are not giving Green Impact the credit he deserves. Is that he was beaten by a horse who finished 8th on his debut.
Possibly, yeah.
So people are probably looking at that, but Hasdan was very, very green on debut. Lots of excuses, and then beat Green Impact, and Green Impact has been dominant since.
Yeah. Well, look, I would imagine he's enjoyed flicking his toe on that ground now. So I would actually imagine he goes to America and I think it's a win in your in race for the juvenile turf. I'd say they go there instead of Doncaster. That's probably what I'd do with him anyway. So yeah, very interesting. He could well be the best colt that we have over here.
Has Dan go to Doncaster?
That's probably what I'd do with him too. Probably to Donny. Or is there the Futurity, is it? Over Mon?
Yeah, the Futurity.
That's one of the other probably. Yeah, there's that over the mile at Donny, and there's a mile group too at the Curragh as well. I think with the same name. The Beresford, yeah. The Beresford would make sense for him too. So we'll see where it goes.
That's coming from that stable. That's probably where we'll see has that.
Probably. Yeah. As long as it's not an early closer, I need to double check that. I don't have.
No, I don't think it is.
Very good.
Look, enjoyed that roundup. I actually have 2 for Tramore, Andy, and I'm quite keen on them. I'll give them out randomly through the show in case anyone wants to switch off and come back.
Very good.
No. Right, we kick it off, Andy.
Let's do it.
225 Irish Stallion Farms EBF Fillies Maiden race. They're all races for 2-year-olds, so
we'll
just get.
Don't need to mention that.
It's all 2-year-olds. Just short of 6 furlongs, 5 furlongs, 205 yards. Luna Gianna. She was staying on in 3 maidens and a listed race. She's behind the likes of Isles of March and Barbouche. Really, really nice form. But the one I'd probably side with here, Andy, is Vanderblee. 2 runs over 7 furlongs behind Shantae twice. Drop back and trip might sue. I'm obviously going to go with that one. How much I love Shantae's now, but what way do you see this?
Yeah, I would imagine that Vanderbilt House, they're probably going to try and boo her out and make all the running coming back to this trip now just shy of 6 furlongs, and she's by Blue Point and 2 runs over 7. I can see why they're maybe coming back and trip with her. I think Luna Gianna's getting to the stage now. I know it was a listed race last time out, but the form hasn't overly worked out well. Treasure Royal, I think, was beaten in a I think was he beaten in a sales race? There was one beaten in a sales race. I think it might have been actually a Group 3. in France, one or the other. I'm getting my Aidan O'Brien horses mixed up. I think he was beaten actually in a group race. Saratoga Special was beaten at long odds on her next start as well. So the form is starting to look a bit questionable in that Group 3. The Ides of March form isn't too bad, I suppose, before that. But I'd probably want to see her kind of winning sooner rather than later. And this might be a gilt edge opportunity. It's hard to know whether anything in this race is going to be rated 84 at this point in time to beat her, because most of her rivals, Vanderbilt House, obviously, coming back in trip. And then you've 4 debutants, about 4 debutants that are well enough bred in Miracle Beauty, Misappropriation, Never Not Lucky, and Show Spinner. Hard to know what to expect of them on debut, and I wouldn't be backing any debutants usually. None of them jumping off the page to me on pedigree to be getting excited first time out. So yeah, I would imagine you could have a little punt on Vanderbilt House Deck here, but even though it's basically all maidens, and in the handicap there's probably better bets on the card. I would be tentatively with you on Vanderbilt House, but it wouldn't be enough. I wouldn't be putting my hand in my pocket here. I'd be watching this for future reference.
Right, okay, yeah, look, I'd be keen enough on Vanderbilt House. I think she takes the opener. I hope I make it there on time to get a bet on. We will move on to the 255, the Irish Stallion Farms EBF maiden for colts and geldings. Same trip, 5 furlongs, 205 yards. And there's only one here for me. It's Curragh.
It's a certainty. Probably he's going to be odds on, isn't he? Like, you're looking at the 2 races that he's ran in, he's bumped into a serial group of formers in. You just mentioned how good Hazdan might be, and obviously you fancied Green Impact. Bernard Shaw as well ran with plenty of credit as well on the weekend in that race just behind Green Impact. And then you think he might go and follow up after a lovely run in third, and then he just happens to bump into the Line in Winter, who went on to win the Acomb Stakes at York. So despite not winning in 2 maidens, he's bumped into 3, probably Group 2 class. Well, obviously Green Impact is Group 2 class. You probably would imagine the Line in Winter, like, he's going to be favoured for either the Dewhurst or the Futurity at Donny. So and then obviously whatever Dermot Well decides to run his can horse. I would say Curragh Wood's going to be short odds here. If you were to somehow miraculously get even money, you could back him with confidence, because you'd be just hoping that Mississippi River isn't Aidan O'Brien's flagship colt next year. Saracen nicely bred as well, but best watched on debut. And then Antelope Canyon has an opportunity to obviously progress, beating about 4 or 5 lengths on his debut, but it wasn't the strongest of maidens. An RPR 70 kind of replicates that, and they've already reached for blinkers on his debut. The blinkers are retained. So Curragh Wood probably going to be 4 to 7, 1 to 2. We'll just go and win.
Yeah, well, look, you know the crack by now, guys. You just do that double and you go home.
That's it. Yeah, reenact, rinse and repeat.
Right. Look, Andy, I'm going to let you take over now.
Yeah, all the best.
We'll move on. 325, the TRM Calforman Nursery Handicap over 5 furlongs. There's a horse in here, Andy, I spoke a good bit about the last time he ran.
I remember.
Yeah, he was probably off for the first time at the Curragh. He was quite green, I thought, again that day. His best maiden form, however, was over 5, but I'd probably be swaying towards Arizona Beauty. I thought she ran a big race on handicap debut. Drops back to 5 furlongs here. Mark is 65. What do you think?
Yeah, so the 2 that you probably need to look at, Mick O'Callaghan's up the top in first time blinkers. Tommy McJohn, 2 good runs in a maiden, and then possibly was changing his legs a bit at Cork, maybe found the ground a little bit too lively when finishing 7th, has subsequently been gelded. And your granddad's favourite saying, or everyone's granddad's favourite saying, is probably the top weight in the nursery. It was one of the go-tos back in the day. He would have a fair chance, but Arizona Beauty, as you mentioned there, Dec, cheek pieces on first time. 3 quiet enough runs in maidens, but then improved to be 3rd on his nursery debut. Last Encore probably was a blot that day. He only ran in 2 maidens and got to run in a nursery as a result of not even winning a maiden. I think that since COVID, I think he can get a mark after 2 runs, depending. He got a mark over 2 runs, probably shouldn't have won with a decent amount in hand. Got £7 as a result. Gloriously Glam ran on Sunday in the sales race and ran with plenty of credit. He was second, so he's probably bumped into two, pretty well handicapped horses in hindsight. Handicapper leaves her unchanged on 65. Billy Lee riding for Ken Condon. Just a lot to like. The one I would just highlight at a big enough price, no straight swaps, who comes back to the minimum 5 furlongs for the first time, has been prominent in all her runs, and I would say she's gonna go hard now up the rail, and whether she stays there is another thing. Might still need a little bit more experience though, with that said. But yeah, no, Arizona Beauty, one of the better bets on the card for me here. I think she'll take a fair bit of beating. Right,
okay, that's the first three. We're siding with each other. Arizona Beauty here. Okay, we'll move on. 355 to Irish Stallion Farms, EDF claiming maiden over 8 furlongs the mile. Look, Andy, I really struggled here. William F. Brown, maybe 6 lengths behind Scarty Champ on debut. Was second the last day. That was his 4th run at Roscommon. Comes here with probably the most experience in the race. What way do you see it?
This is a footnote on the card, unfortunately. Look, there is a time and a place for claimant maidens. And look, this is fine to have one on the card. They do serve their purpose, especially with prize money. 10 grand, I suppose, 10.5 grand for winning the claimant maiden's not bad. And you
might get a few, Bob.
Exactly. If you have one here and you back it into favourite and you win your 10 grand, you make a bit of money off the bet and you sell it for, I don't know, I'm just going to say another 10 grand because I don't have the claiming conditions in front of me right now. But they can be worth their money for if horses are bought at a low enough price. But look, it's usually a big red flag if they're debuting in a claiming maiden. So Antoine de Paris and Morning Air, I would want to see them. They're best watched for me. A good old friend of ours, Dec, Shocker, in here off 77, 9 stone 2. Drifted as if victory was out of the question at Ballinrobe a few 2 starts back, but was only beaten 1 length in the end. Ran no sort of race then on handicap debut at Killarney, was 5th to 5, beaten 17 lengths. Dropped a pound as a result. Probably a little bit hard to trust. 77 may flatter him as a result of his early form, I think, at Tipperary. Then you've Mighty Day and William F. Brown. It's between both of them, really. Paddy Harnett taking 5 off Mighty Day and is rated 73. Was only just touched out of it last time out in another claiming maiden at Navan. So, look, that probably makes him the one to beat based on Paddy's claim. He's best at the weights anyway. He's getting £5 from William F. Brown because of the claiming price. I'd say Colin Keane is going to do the same thing here. Try and boot out William F. Brown, make all the running. Was very testing ground at Roscommon last time out, but it was a good effort. Different ground conditions here today. Shouldn't be much of a problem for him. But I will side with Mighty Day. He was a little bit unlucky last time, and I think I can just trust him a little bit more. I'd want to see William F. Brown perform on better ground.
Okay, who was that? Sorry, Andy.
That was Mighty Day, number 3.
Mighty Day. I know I'll stick with William F. Brown, but look, very, very tentative selection. Okay, we'll move on to the 430. Gain the Advantage Series Nursery Handicap for they're all for 2-year-olds over the 8 furlongs a mile. Andy, this the race of the night, the one we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, exactly.
Myself and Andy met a certain trainer on the steps in Leopardstown on a really well-liked trainer.
Gentleman.
In Leopardstown on Saturday, and we stopped to chatting, and he was very, very keen to ask about a filly of his that we've kind of liked all season. Andy's been raving about her, but before Andy could even finish asking the question, he said, "She'll win on Thursday, Andrew. Let me tell you, she'll win on Thursday." So, Andy, tell us who the filly is and why she'll win on Thursday.
Yeah, it's Brendan Duke's Maconian Odyssey, number 6. I think she's a filly that has plenty of talent anyway, and that was highlighted from her run 5th behind Bedtime Story on her debut. She came from a bit of an unpromising position. She was only out to get experience. She came by plenty of horses, and she was only beaten about 6 or 7 lengths in the end. Giselle was in there that day as well, second to Bedtime Story, and she was sent off at odds on to beat Bedtime Story that night. She hasn't been seen since. I'm just mentioning that because she's probably one that you should all pop in your trackers. There's obviously something hasn't gone right, but if she was sent off at odds on to beat Bedtime Story, they must have been expecting something. A few winners have came out of that race, transcending the 4th. Indigo Dream, although she hasn't won, has ran to a decent level. So it was a strong enough maiden. Not everything went right for her then. They changed tactics, tried to, they ran her prominently at the Curragh. She was well beaten, but it was 12 lengths by Lake Victoria, no less, and Red Leather, like a really strong maiden. And she was taken off her feet a little bit then at Galway. Maybe wasn't the most comfortable on the track. So I would like to see her run in a similar fashion to the way she did at Leopardstown on her first ever run. Just hold her up and just let her come home. She's going to be a big prize. Like, you very rarely see one of Brendan's, up towards the top of the market early on. And that's no disrespect to him. It's just that people are going to see 508, and they might see Shamie Heffernan's number or booking. And
big money, half on board.
Yes, but I can see, I could see her being a big price. But what she showed on debut suggests to me that she is well capable of winning off 67. Brendan did say she suffered from a little bit of anxiety, so maybe that was an issue. Yeah, in fairness, well, not fair either. Like, obviously horses are highly strong animals.
So from anxiety was trained by Brendan as well.
Yeah. But no, a big smile came across his face when we asked him about her, and I do hope she wins. For Brendan, absolute gentleman. It was really nice to meet him and have a quick chat with him. But look, 67 underestimates this filly for sure. And with a bit of luck now, she goes in for Brendan and her connections. So Maconian Odyssey for me, I've kept an eye on her. I think 67 is very workable. Doesn't look the strongest nursery in the world, but you never know when these horses are, a lot of them run in their first handicaps, etc. But yeah, I think this one is going to go close. Yeah,
look, this is on. Big money.
This is on. Get on early.
We got this from the horse's mouth. Now I know he says all his horses will win.
Wait until he hears about the one he says about the next race.
Oh,
he mustn't. I didn't ask him about that.
He did tell me very disappointed one time that a horse making his debut over hurdles was well beaten in the Grade 1 Spring Juvenile. Brian Gallagher saw and lost him out. So, he's not short of confidence, Brendan. But anyway, look. We'll enjoy it and we'll get stuck into
absolutely.
What is it? What's her name?
Myconian Odyssey.
On Thursday. Yeah. Okay. We move on to the 505. Hopefully, after collecting loads of money, the Irish EBF Auction Series maiden over 7 furlongs. There's Rowdy Yates in here, Andy, second to Arizona Blaze early on the season. Only start, but that was on heavy. I wouldn't be too keen now to be with Rowdy Yates. There's probably 2 I take against the field. Green Brothers, 4 2 lengths behind Dignam, who was second, I think. That was on debut. We know Dignam has won since. Maybe didn't handle Galway the next time. And then Temperance, who also has form behind Dignam, 4 lengths off Dignam. Second to Royal Diamond the last day when Royal Diamond was winning for the second time. The trainer is actually 100% at Naas, Miss Katie Given.
Katie, yeah.
1 from 1. Can't knock it. So I'll take the 2 with them, but Andy, you love these auction series maidens, so
yeah, I'm not going to explain what they are again. Although this one is different. This one is actually what the horse was bought for, not about the price of the sire, because you've a No Nay Never in here off 8 stone 8 that was only bought for $5,000. Good No Nay Never. Good No Nay Never. They're probably up all night thinking that name. First time cheek pieces for debut there. And very quite well bred, so I can only imagine what that horse ran as a breeze to only how she ran to only fetch 5k. Look, and again the Angelic Doctor in here for Brendan Dukes. Hopefully he has a big price double. Gavin Ryan taking the ride there. Nice enough pedigree on that one too.
Be some interview with Kevin now if that double comes in.
I hope he mentioned us. Rowdy Yates, probably the best place to start. I would be turned off him because that was the first maiden, 2-year-old maiden of the season, all the way back in March when we last saw him. He hasn't been gelded, he's been second, so he's clearly had some sort of setback. So he's probably his best watched on debut, albeit his form is a good level, probably above these. But it is obviously you never know when horses are coming back off an injury. It has been quite a while, like best part of pretty much 6 months since we've seen him. So I would actually be siding with Temperance here as well. I thought the run behind Rebel Diamond was a fine effort. Rebel Diamond was very, very short that day, as you said. Was rated 85, went and won nicely. Was winning for the second time as well. Albeit giving £8 to Temperance. But I would get the vibe that Rebel Diamond might be a little bit better than 85. Seems to have kind of starting to understand the game now. So yeah, I would take Temperance here, but again, I'd be hopefully counting my Maconian Odyssey money here, Dec, and wouldn't be getting overly involved.
Okay, but look, you know, we're thinking alike here. It's only the claiming maiden. This might be on for a Bolivian here, you know.
Yeah, a bit of luck.
With the two of us, I'll probably leave out that claiming maiden because you'd only be punting in them anyway. We will move on to the finale.
Which is impossible because they're all unraced, but anyway.
Yeah. The 540 Irish Stallion Farms EBF maiden, 7 furlongs. Look, I'll be leaving this one out. I'd be happy to go with what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd be happy to do our Bolivian now on those 5 runners. Yeah. Leave out the claim maiden. But look, Churchill is a really good record at Naas with 2-year-olds. He's 24% with 2-year-olds. Clementine's Dream runs here. It was by Churchill. Probably not going to be off. But it might be one that you could see running on well, maybe too well for connections like him at the end. Might run into a bit of place money. But Andy, you've obviously had a look at their parents and their grandparents. You're going to give it the winner now.
Yeah, well, there's rumour mill is out about one in here, which I have seen the rumours online. But like again, I think Gallantly. Do you remember Gallantly from last year? I'm pretty sure he ran on this card.
In the green colours.
Yeah, the rumour mill, I think he debuted on this card and the rumour mill went mad about him. They're swirling about the horse Galveston as well. €2 million yearling. And probably, you know, for a horse that fetched 2 million, you know, not the most eye-catching of pedigrees. But like, obviously he's a phenomenal pedigree, but like not a pedigree probably worth 2 million. Like he's a fourth foal. I think there's only one winner from the Dam, and now the Dam is a sister to Cannock Chase, and I've seen pictures of Galveston. I keep saying Gaviscon nearly. The bleeding.
Yeah. Sorry, Andy, anyway. I will just cut across you. The Beresford is an early closer because he has an entry, and Hasdan does not have an entry.
Hasdan does not have an entry. Okay. Yeah, and look, I'm actually looking at the early entries now. Galveston hasn't even ran yet. He's 20-1 for the Royal Lodge, which is an insane bet. Anyway,
but there was people back in a race that doesn't exist.
Backing horses for a race that doesn't exist. Yeah.
Let's be honest, we all knew this race wasn't going to exist, or had a very, very good feeling. There's been talk about this race or that race not existing since the festival last year. We all knew. Let's be honest. And so why wouldn't you have a bet on Galveston in the Royal Lodge?
The Royal Lodge, and just pray he gets on the boat after winning this race. Look, he's probably going to be my tentative pick here. I won't be backing him now because he's going to be odds on. But the rumor mill is flying here, and it's kind of hard to, you know, these are the type of races now. If you're going to pick one race on the whole card just to follow blindly, it would be this one. There'll be horses winning back end maidens out of this races. There'll be horses in here turning up in Oaks trials and Derby trials probably. So it is very much worth following. But yeah, the rumor mill is out about Galveston. So let's see how he runs. See if he goes and wins.
Andy, when we jump off here, I want you to put out a tweet, and I want you to big up Galveston. What's it, Galveston?
Galveston, yeah.
I want you to big up this horse about the Royal Lodge, and tomorrow after he wins on Thursday, I want to see him in roll-ups, You know, that with those people who are inclined out there, I want to see him roll ups with Liverpool to come from behind to beat Milan tonight. I want to see him in a couple of bets how many throw-ins are in tonight's game, and a few others, Man City to win the league or something. I don't know, but I want to see people. I want you to get this out there.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'll stick him at Conor McGregor to be Irish president, and then even though there's just been a new James Bond, the next James Bond.
If you don't tweet tonight about this horse winning the Royal Lodge, we won't see it. But if you do, I guarantee you, we'll see him in roll-ups now with some like Ballyburn to win fucking everything.
Ballyburn to find the cure for my eczema, maybe.
Yeah. I want to see it, so I need you to straight onto the phone when we jump off here. Look, that wraps up the card at Naas and brings us to the meeting you've all been waiting for. Thanks for sitting through that. I actually really enjoyed that, Andy. But
yeah, no, I had a ball. That was my bread and butter.
But we do have some serious business to get to tomorrow night. So the 4:45 handicap chase over 2 mile 7, one of Phillips, Cullen Wayne, in here off 83. Recent winner of a hurdles off 86. Did unsee on handicap chase debut, but was badly hampered. It wasn't like the horse can't jump, and was favoured that day. I think. Tell me you don't think this is a good thing, Andy? £3 lower than the winning hurdle mark.
Yeah, well, look, there's no better man than Phillips. So.
Yeah, and then we'll go to the last on the card, the 650. It's a handicap hurdle, 2 mile, 5.5 furlong. Maybell and May, maybe a horse we've spoken about before, Andy.
Maybell and May, yeah, I think it is actually.
Yeah, it might be one you spoke about. Big step forward the last day, head back up and trip, left on the same mark after finishing second. You don't often see that. Handicapper really giving this horse a chance to get a win. First time cheek pieces.
So you need to say any more. 13-2 a piece by the looks here, Dec. So
if only I could back the first two at Naas in the double before this, so we could get
Gaviscon to win the Royal Lodge then as well.
And Gaviscon to win the Royal Lodge. Yeah, look,
Curragh Harper.
I'm quite keen on those two, and I do like the ones we both agreed on, Andy. I think it could be a good day for us at Naas. They might be fancy prices. But maybe Brendan's way well when she opens up. So look,
fingers crossed.
Don't get annoyed with us now. Brendan gave us that one.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. We're putting Brendan under the proverbial bus here. If this
if she does win, I think it's only fair we ask Brendan to come on.
Oh, I think we should ask him to come on anyway.
I think he'd be a great guest.
Yeah,
he'd be a great guest. Okay, look, well done again to everyone who back winners the weekend. Go and spend that money. Enjoy it.
Have fun.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for following. Talk about us. Tell your friends about us. Get the podcast out there. We're coming back into the jumps, so we want people, subscribing and not missing out on the winners we hopefully have coming up, kicking on from another couple of weeks now. Andy, is all we need. The ground will start to turn, and we'll start off in October. I think we really get going from November.
Listowel on the horizon as well for next week.
On the horizon, yeah. Look, we're going to be busy the next week or so. We'll have to bang our heads together and come up with a plan. But
that's it. Looking forward to it.
I'd love to do another this week, but I might need to give me voice a rest at some stage.
Still struggling. You're like a footballer that just won't take it. Like a footballer that won't take a week or two off. Niggling injury for the last. You're like a footballer that won't take a week or two off. Just a niggling injury for the last 4 podcasts. You can't speak.
My voice is like which is the lineman in the chase at Cheltenham.
Getting bustled along.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay. Thanks very much, guys. See you. Good luck.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.